Hello and welcome into our Make Giving Statements Easy webinar. My name is Jake and I am being joined today with Irina and Callie, and we're going to be jumping in to look at Elvanto and Breeze, the CHMS products inside of the Tithely product suite, and really how to make your giving statement, tax season, that whole process from beginning to end as easy as possible. This is being recorded, so be sure that you are tuning in. If you have questions, taking notes there, but you can really just sit back and enjoy, take in what's being processed here in this webinar, and our marketing team is going to send out a link to everybody who's registered for this webinar that you can review this later. Just want to take a moment to introduce ourselves. Again, my name is Jake. I have support over on our Breeze product, been here for a couple of years now. You may have seen me, worked with me here, and I'm in the Southeast in Georgia. And this morning we were getting snow. So if you've had some crazy weather over the last week, you can tell us how many inches of snow you've gotten as well. So again, my name is Jake. I'm joining in from the Southeast in Georgia, and we got snow today and it's freezing cold. But Callie, over to you.
Hey, I'm Callie. I am in Alabama, so neighbor to Jake. I have been around a little bit on the Bree side of things as a CX advocate. I'm happy to be here with y'all. I am freezing because if it gets below 20 degrees here in the South, I basically feel like I'm in Antarctica. So everything was frozen this morning and it's slowly warming up, but still quite chilly in these parts. How about you, Irina?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Irina. I am with Elvanto and Tithely support. I actually have been an Elvanto customer before I came on to be an Elvanto support member. So I have been in your shoes and will bring a little bit of my own experience in. I am a bit warmer, I think, because we haven't seen any snow just east in South Carolina. So it looks like we are all on the southern end here. And I do come originally from Washington State. So I have experienced the cold weather before, but I have acclimated fairly quickly and I want the warmth back. I do.
I'm still
Back to you,
learning
Jake.
new things about our team today. I mean, I had no clue that you came in from Washington. So you've probably seen a different type of cold and snow, like you mentioned there. But hey, just as a
Mhm.
few more minutes as we are having people join in to this webinar here, just a couple of housekeeping items here. If you'll notice in the bottom of your screen, there are two features available for communicating. There is the chat, and then there is the Q&A. If you will do us a favor and any questions that you have, drop that into the Q&A section there. We'll be answering some of those as we are able throughout our time together. And then we're going to have a Q&A session here at the end as well, where we're going to highlight and answer some of those questions as a group. But as you've already noticed, that chat fills up quickly. So if you're dropping questions in the chat, it's really hard for our team to keep up with. So again, do us a favor, click that Q&A section down there at the bottom, drop your questions in there, and we'll do our best to either answer the question or include it in our Q&A. And Irina will help us at the end with this as well. But if we don't get to your question, then we'll obviously, you can send us an email, chat with us, and we'll be able to help answer any questions that you have from the support side after this webinar. But as we get rolling today, I wanted to do a quick overview of our agenda and what you can expect here in our time together. So we're going to start out, we're going to look at the Breeze product, go through that giving statement process there. Then I'm going to pass it over to Irina here in just a few minutes, and she's going to walk us through all that we need to know there about the Elvanto products. So if you're on the Elvanto side, hang out with us for a few minutes. You can see some of that Breeze and what happens there. And if you're on the Breeze side and you want to hang out for that Q&A, then that's only going to be a few minutes there. Be sure to tune in for the entirety of our webinar, hang out for that Q&A session. And just for those who are just now rolling in, again, this is going to be recorded. So you'll receive a link for this sometime after the webinar. And again, make sure to be using that Q&A section. But let's go ahead and jump right in. We've been going for about 5 minutes. And then as people come in, feel free to use that chat and Q&A section there. So on the Breeze side, I mainly support the Breeze product here. So we're going to take a look here at the Breeze first. There's really 4 steps to generating statements to make your life a breeze as you are going through that generating tax statement process there. Step 1 is we're going to ensure the data is ready. Make sure everything's good to go. Step 2, determining who we're generating statements for. Step 3, that customize and modify the statements area. And then step 4, actually sending out the statements. So let's break that down a little bit. I'm also going to show you some stuff from a Breeze account here as well, my demo account. But the first step, let's break this down a little bit. We want to ensure the data is ready. Is all the giving there for the previous year in Breeze? So this year, we're looking at the 2023 calendar year. Is all the data input? Are all the associations made? Is there any additional giving data that needs to be imported into Breeze? Is there any other files that are hanging out that you've been kind of putting off that you need to get imported into your Breeze account? The associations are really important. If you're using that online giving area there, you go to the online giving page, make sure that there's no outstanding associations. So you're making sure that the donor is getting credit for their gifts. And then also, are there any recently deceased members who need a statement? Is there any archiving that's been done? Those individuals who are archived are going to have a statement generated, but just making sure that the data looks correct for those individuals. The next step is determine who we want to generate a statement for. Working through this a little quickly, we're going to break this down when we share screen a little bit more too for my demo account. But first question, you can ask yourself here, do I want to send statements to all donors? Is there tax deductible? Is there non-tax deductible funds that may need statements? Do I need to send separate statements to certain groups of donors? So maybe there are couples or people who are grouped together in a family unit who are needing multiple statements for a single family there, and you need to create those individual statements there. Do I want to send statements and including pledge information if you're utilizing that pledge feature there? And then am I wanting to send these statements to only one individual there? So we've asked some really great questions here, but let's go ahead and jump into an account and let's see these statements in action. So again, I'm here in my Breeze demo. I've clicked giving. I've come down to statements. You can do some statements and generating from this reports area, but just for the sake of time today, we're going to look at this specifically from the statements tab here in the left column of that giving area. So you have two options here. You can print or email. When you get to that customizing statement area, one of the quickest ways and easiest ways to customize and modify a statement and see immediate results of that is using this email button here. So you can click on the email button here. You'll notice here that the start and end date is always the current calendar year. So you're going to make sure to change that to the previous calendar year for 2023. And then I have group by family, including children selected. I'm going to click continue to compose message. And here we have the email that will be sent out. We're not wanting to send this email yet, but we're wanting to preview the giving statement. So click that preview there in the parentheses. And here we can take a look at the specific information and giving statements for each individual. You'll notice that here in my demo, there's only 5 or 6 total who are eligible. This will show a selection of everybody receiving it, but not every single person as an exhaustive list. To view that customized statement, that modify statement window here, click this blue button here to customize statement. And here we are in the statement editor. If you're wanting to see all the tools in this feature, click these 3 dots here. It's going to open up the second part of this toolbar. And you'll notice here that I already have a template that I've been working in, but you can click this templates drop down here and you can actually save, update, create new templates. This section right here from minimalist to with cover letter are the default Breeze templates here. Say I wanted to try out another template and I wanted to leave this template behind, but I wanted to save my changes so far. As you're working through templates, be sure to save the template before you move on to another template there. But you'll notice here that we have with cover letter, double window envelopes, and so forth. For the sake of this example, I'm going to quickly change this template. You're going to get this notification that it's going to remove the current information. I'm going to click OK. And then here's what that template change looks like. You'll notice here that there's tables. That's what these dotted boxes are around this. So if you're ever needing to work and move around, not all window envelopes are created with the same specifications. So you may notice that you need to adjust the spacing between some of these tables. That's where this great tables feature comes in right here, where you can insert table and kind of change that up some to adjust where your address is landing at. Another really important thing I wanted to take a note here is that this area is super customizable down here. Anything you're seeing in brackets are the mail merges. Mail merges are what allows you to customize and bring in specific information from a donor for the entire statement group that you're printing out there or emailing. So anything that you type in right here, so I'm just type in sample text, this will show as sample text for every single statement that's printed. If you're wanting to bring in custom information, for example, a pledges summary, you would want to do that by clicking the mail merge dropdown and clicking pledges summary. I'll also note too that the itemized and the pledges summary are both customizable. Be sure to check out our Help Center articles around customizing statements and sending out pledge statements for those exact guides on the information that you can add into the mail merge to only bring in certain information for this process. But once you've completed that process, you've edited, created this for everything that you need done here, then you can go ahead and then save this as a new template. I'm going to title this test template. Click OK. And the next time I load this, my test template's available. I can click save. And then we can see those changes have taken immediate effect. No pledge information in my demo account here for this donor, but you can see that sample text also saved there. I'm going to hop back over here to my other browser, and we're going to take a look here at the printing statement side. Again, once you've got that email statement done, if that's everything you need to do and you're ready to email, you can go ahead and send that email now to send out the giving statements, or you can send this at a future time. But now let's jump over to that print statements area. So right here on the print area for the statements button, we can click print. Again, be sure to have your date ranges changed for the calendar year or for that duration of time that you're looking for. And then we have a couple options here. If you click this customize statement window, it's going to open up that same customized statement window we were looking at in the email editor. But the only difference is that when you come out of that, you kind of have to start back over and click the print statements again. But if you're wanting to print for all donors, you can leave this as all donors, leave it selected, or you can come in and click this drop down and click for donors without email addresses. What this is going to do is print a statement for everybody who has a giving transaction in this window of time who does not have any information listed in the default email profile field inside of Breeze. So this doesn't necessarily look for those who have bounced email addresses. You would have to actually email the statement and go look at your email history to see the statements that you emailed that weren't successfully sent for whatever reason. But this does allow you to print statements for those who don't have an email address listed there. So a really great feature there. And then after you've done this process, then before you click print statements, you can also print mailing labels from here for that same group that you're printing statements for. So as long as they have an address listed there in their Breeze account, you can quickly click that print mailing labels, and it's going to download a file for you. And you can see that it's going to pop up here on your local device where you can open those mailing labels. One last thing I want to look at here before we left this area is I'm going to go ahead and click this print statements area and let this load up here. And there's one more area here that whenever you're printing this out, you're going to notice that in this example, there is a header and a footer on this statement. This is actually something that's pulling in from your browser settings here. So right here in this print statement, this is exactly what it's going to print out for each donor. To remove the headers and the footers, be sure to click that More Settings drop down. And I'm in Google Chrome. This may be a little different for each browser, but the headers and footers options should be pretty similar. Make sure to unselect that, and you'll notice that those headers and footers have immediately disappeared. And that's the process there of just generating that statement overall, deciding who it's for. And then if you are sending statements to individuals and you've kind of went through that process there, be sure to check out our Help Center for this process as well. But if you're needing to send a statement to a certain tag group, so for those times where you may be sending individual statements to those in a family, you would do that from up here in the reports area. But for the sake of time and respecting our Elvanto crew here, I'm going to hop back over into our slideshow, and we're going to keep working through our last area here for the Breeze side. So to actually send the statements, we just looked at this on our walkthrough here, but we have the options to email statements, to print statements, to recap there, print for those without the email. We looked at the mailing labels. We also looked at how to remove those headers and footers that can hang out depending on if this is the first time you've removed that for your browser settings. A couple of other things to consider here is, do you want this to be grouped by family? And do you want the giving to include or exclude children there? Again, we would always recommend, if you have some questions specifically about what should be showing up on those tax statements and the information that should be included or shouldn't be included, we'd always recommend reaching out to whoever prepares your taxes or whoever the legal rep is for your organization. But anything apart from that, we're always happy to help answer those specific questions there. A few troubleshooting tips as we get ready to hand this over to the Elvanto side as well is, if you're noticing that giving isn't showing on a certain donor's transaction or on their certain donor's giving statement there, you could always go look at their giving and their individual giving record there. Make sure the giving is actually showing in their account. If it is, head over to funds, make sure the fund is selected as a tax deductible fund. When you edit the fund, there's gonna be a checkbox there below the fund title. Make sure that checkbox is selected for that to be tax deductible. And then if you still have questions after tracking that down, make sure that it's not an unassociated gift. And then if you've exhausted those troubleshooting options, make sure to reach out to us here at Breeze Support. We're always happy to jump into that as well and troubleshoot that further with you. So congratulations. That is an overview here of our Breeze giving statements. You've ensured the data is correct. You've ensured that you have the recipients in there and who you're sending it to. You've customized it, you've modified it, you've created some templates there for your giving to even use for future years, which is really, really helpful. And finally, you have sent those mailing statements. And now we're going to hand it over to Irina to walk us through that Elvanto product there.
Thank you. Making sure that I'm not on mute. Thank you so much, Jake, for that. That was great. Let me go ahead and I will be sharing my screen as we go over the details. I do apologize. I should have been a little bit more prepared. Just want to confirm, Jake and Callie, you're able to see my screen okay? Okay, perfect. Welcome again. My name is Irina, as previously stated, and I'm very excited to be able to walk through giving statements here in Elvanto. A little intimidating going after Jake and Breeze, but I loved seeing that. I love seeing our products in action. So that was really great to be able to see that live. Let's go ahead and jump in. We are going to go over a few things before you want to generate your tax statements. We want to make sure that all your products are looking great. We're making sure that your database is cleaned up, just so that way you're not sending out duplicate statements and just adding a little bit of extra confusion for people during the tax season. So we're just going to be going over things like checking for duplicates, making sure your records are complete. If you have the Tithely and Elvanto giving in integration, just making sure that all the transactions there have made it over into the Elvanto side. And then we're also going to do a quick overview on how to double check for anyone that's given in the past year, just to do a quick report to see who has given and whether or not they have at least an address or an email in the database for you to be able to send them their giving statements. I will be sharing my screen to go over this information. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is just take a quick look at anyone that may have been created in your system as a duplicate. We don't want to send them too many giving statements that might be a little confusing. So let's go ahead and make sure. We're going to be taking a look at our Elvanto demo site. All you have to do is hover over people and click on duplicates. This will produce any duplicates or any possible duplicates that the system was not comfortable merging when, say, that they don't have Tithely and then the information was sent over the API. It's going to get put into this holding spot for you to make the determination whether or not this is a duplicate. For example, the system recognized that there's an identical phone number and the names are very similar. So it's asking you, is this a duplicate or is this a not a duplicate? What you would do is you would click on either one of the names. I do apologize. Let's go right back here. We're going to click on merge duplicates. And this is going to give us information on both of the accounts. You'll be able to scroll down and make sure the information, if it's a match, you'll be able to confidently say it is a duplicate. I'll go ahead and merge. Just make note, once you do merge, it is not something that we can do undo on the back end. So make sure that you're confident that it is a duplicate. For example, here we're looking at two different people. As you can see, there's a date of birth difference. So we do not want this to be labeled as a duplicate in the system. You could just click not a duplicate. The system's not going to keep prompting you to merge. If the example was a little different and they were in fact the same, they just put in their nickname when they were giving one time instead of their regular name. All the information matched, you would be able to merge duplicates, and it would merge all the information together, including their giving. So if they gave with two different profiles, it would merge that and they would have one giving statement. So that's how you'd be able to merge the duplicates. One thing that also does tend to create duplicates is if you are importing data from outside of Elvanto. If you're recently joining us here and you're new with Elvanto and you want to be able to utilize giving statements with Elvanto, but you have some older giving records for 2023, you can go ahead and import them. Now, we do have some helpful articles online on our Help Center as well for this, but I'll show you really quick on what steps you would do to get to the correct window. This is going to be under the Financial tab, and it's going to be the Import button right here. You'll be able to choose a file to import. We're going to choose Transactions. If your dates are a little different, we do have people outside of the US, so their dates might be a little different. You can go ahead and check which one, and then you hit continue. It's going to ask you a few questions and you'll be able to merge those in. We would recommend doing an import like this before you do the duplicates, because then you'll be able to pop in, and if the system or the import created any duplicates, you'll be able to go ahead and merge those. And take a look here. The next thing that we're going to go over is we're going to go over reviewing the addresses, just making sure that they have some way of you being able to reach out and communicate with them. One of my favorite ways to do it, one of the quicker ways to do it, is do an advanced search. So we're going to go ahead, you can get there two ways. You can either hover over people and click advanced search, or you can click on people and just hit the little advanced search button. And here we are going to search for anyone that has had a transaction. And we're going to choose in the year 2023 through that is greater than 0. And all the information I want to be able to view is their name, their email address, and I also want to be able to view their address. Drag and drop. We're going to do a search. This will allow for me to be able to search anyone who's had a transaction linked to their account and review that they have an email address and a mailing address. I also include the phone number, just because if they don't have either, you have a way of being able to reach out. If they don't have any of them, usually what we see is you'd make an announcement to the congregation. If you've given and you haven't received your given statement, we may not have a way to contact you. Please reach out to us. So that's also an excellent way to do that right there. And let's go ahead, and I do also want to mention one thing that comes up quite a bit at this time is anyone that has been archived or has passed in the year that we're running the statement for and has been marked archived or deceased in the Elvanto system, they will be receiving a giving statement. So I do want to make sure that everyone's aware of that. They will be populating when you click that giving statement button. So you will be seeing those names come up. Don't be surprised if you see that. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. And then also do make sure, if you do have the Tithely Elvanto integration, that you double check with your financial records in Tithely, and then you check also with in financial here. And you can do it quickly by doing transactions and just making sure all the transactions carried over as well. Next thing we're going to go over is we're just going to take a quick look at setting up templates. We have a new exciting template this year that we introduced. It is very out the door ready. There's very minimal on editing, so it can be a little shocking coming from our Elvanto devs because we love to edit a lot. But this is very exciting for the people that just want to get that template out the door and they don't want to edit very much. So I'll be going over both of our templates, the new ones, and then also just our older templates, which we call the original default template. So we'll be taking a look at both of them. We are going to be looking at two different servers. One of them is going to be our US Australian server. And then we do have our Canadian server that we'll be taking a look at because their new template is a little different. So if you are zooming in from Canada, we'll have a little something for you to review in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and get started with our giving templates. This is the next step. This is what you want to do before you finally send those templates out. You can find them by going to Settings, Financial, and Giving Templates, and you'll see this layout right here. Unless you've done giving templates in the past, you'll see your older ones that you've created as well. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our giving templates here. The first one that we're going to go over is going to be from the ones that you would be sending from the US, or if you're in Australia as well, or any other parts of the world that uses Elvanto for financial giving statements, this is where you will be utilizing it. Let's go ahead and this is what it's going to look like for you. Going to go giving statements, and as you can see, we have two. And let's take a look at our new giving statement. It is very nice looking. It is very to the point. There's not a lot of extra in here, and there's not much that you can do to edit. We wanted to have something for our customers out there that they could just put in a logo if they wanted to associate a logo with it and just get it out the door. So this is our new giving statement. It is editable here. You are able to insert your church logo in here. What you will be seeing is your church name, the person or the family name here. You will see the date. The date is going to show the date range that you have chosen. So it would say January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, or whatever. If you do quarterly, you'll show the date that you chose as of the date that you ran the statement. So that will be time stamped right there. And then it will have the church address as well as the person's address who's receiving it. There's a little message here that you can customize under Settings Financial. This is where you can add in your EIN number. This is where you can put in, if you are using the little sentence about no goods or services were given at this time, that you can put that in there. That's where it's going to show up. And we do also recommend using this new one if you'd like to try, if you're using number 9 envelopes. If you are using anything other than the number 9s, would recommend using the older template because you can customize the margins to be able to fit in the windows that you need it to fit into. So let's go ahead and take a quick look on where you would be able to. Let's go back into our financial. And right here is where you can customize that message that I mentioned. You can put in here your EIN number. And again, this is for the US based giving statements. I will be showing the Canadian ones in just a little bit because their laws are a little different. So I just want to show this one here where you can enter in any little comments that you'd like to have directly on the giving statement. And that is going to be our new giving statement, very basic. The only thing that you really have to customize on that one is your logo. And then if you wanted to, the little statement that's going to show up right here. We will take a quick look at our old giving statement as well. This one is very customizable. You can have headers right here, as well as footers. And then anywhere that you'd like to customize, you'll be able to click into the box. You can add little logos in here. You can also change the size and the font in here as well. We do have our placeholders that you can utilize. The transaction list and overview is not editable. That's just what pulls over with information that what they've given. You can have your statement message here as well. The statement message pulls from the same spot that I just showed under financial settings. You can also remove this and put in your own little statement message as well. This is also editable. Now, one thing I do want to mention, one common issue that comes up when using the old template is our margins. So we have a lot of people that come through and they go, my address is not showing up correctly. I just wanted to show this real quick because it is our number one request that comes through when using the older giving template. So I just wanted to show you what that would look like. For example, this one right here is set to 5 centimeters. We're going to take a look at what that statement looks like. This is what it's going to look like. It looks good. It looks just like our new one. And the address is in a good place. One thing that we see is originally it does default to, I believe, 2 centimeters. So if we have this set to 2 centimeters and you have your addresses set up or your font is set up bigger or your envelopes are set up differently, they're not the number 9s, and you want to take a look at what that looks like, you can change the margin. And again, you just scroll down and you want to do it to the one that's below the transactions. Change the margin, hit save. We're going to go into layout real quick and we're going to preview giving statement. Give it a second. And as you can see, now it's showing on 2 different pages. The address has its own private page and then it goes on to page 2. So that is the quickest way to double check. If you notice that your address is creating a whole new page, pop into your setup under your original older default template and get that taken care of. And now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Canadian giving. Go ahead and pop right over here. And once again, you will be able to do a little message in the given statement messages. And it looks the same. We still have our basic in our old template here, our new and our old. And here's what the new one looks like. Now, again, this is for our Canadian friends. So if you are in the US, you will not be seeing it like this. So this is due to some of the laws that they have. And so we wanted to just show what is editable on this page here. So here you can insert the logo just as you can on the US servers. You do have your business number spot available here. The receipt number is going to be unique each time, every year. And then you also have your spot to insert the signature as well. Everything else that you saw on the US side, the names of the church, the dates of the transactions, as well as when it was populated, and the bottom portion, as well as this comment, the statement here. All of that is for our Canadian friends. So check out the new giving template. It's really great. You can still, in Canada, still access your old one if you'd like. If you run into any trouble or if you have any questions, as always, we are available and very happy to help. Now, really quickly, we're going to go over how to generate and distribute. Once you've created your template, you've gone through, made sure you've merged your duplicates, you're ready to go. You just want to get them out the door and have that off your desk. So let's go ahead and generate some statements. We're going to go over. It's going to be done under the financial tab. We're going to click on giving statements. Now here, you will see there's a publish giving statement. That's where we're going to go. We're going to enter in the name. You can name it whatever you'd like. We're going to change the date. You can click all the way back. I have gotten in the habit of clicking on the date to change it, but type it in, whatever works best for you. You can output as individuals, or you can do it as a family unit. And there is also the option, if you have a family unit where members that are not spouse and partner, you can actually separate them from they can get their own. So if you have a daughter who's giving and she wants her own giving statement, you can separate using that option right here. And then what we're going to do is these are preset to what we would recommend. So usually we don't see a lot of people changing these, but you can definitely, if you don't want to have the transaction showing, just the overview, you can customize it as you'd like right here. You can also choose accounts. And then this here is where you'll choose the template. We're going to take a look at the new template, but this is where you would choose the template that you just created, or just be able to pick which one you want to go with. We're going to hit save. Now that published that giving statement. When I say published, I mean that it is now available for members who have access to Elvanto to click on their My Giving, if you have that set up in their permissions, to be able to view those that giving statement. So once that's published, they're able to view it. You are wanting to send it out. So let's go ahead and look at the two ways to do it. One of the ways is hitting the send button. If you're looking to print, you can do that as well. You're going to click on the little arrow next to the giving statement, and you're going to print giving statements. It's going to say print statements right here. And it's along the same lines as Breeze. You do have the option to send it to people without an email address. So that way you can email the ones that have the email address and then just mail out the ones that don't have that. You also have the option to print all giving statements as well, if you'd like. And we'll take a look at what that looks like. It just populates in another window as a PDF of all giving statements, which then you can print. For emailing them out, you're going to click on send. And here it's going to tell you who it's going to be sent to. If, for example, Dale has already picked his up, you don't want to send him extras, you can remove them from the list here. And this is also where you can add any files outside, things like a cover letter. If you want to send a cover letter, you have a PDF that you want to send out, you can drag and drop and upload it here. You can also use this here and type out whatever you'd like. And then you will hit send, and that will send those off. We do have a lot of people that prefer to take a look at it first. They hit send test email. Just a heads up, if you do that, you're not going to get an active giving statement to yourself, because that's a test email. So you can send yourself a test just to see what it will look like. But if you try and download a giving statement, it's not going to produce one. So don't be too scared if you see that. But that's how you get those sent out, and that sends it out in bulk to everyone here. So you'll be able to get those sent out as soon as you have chosen the template that you'd like to use and made sure that all your data is correct in the database. Now, real quickly, for example, if you are wanting to send out just one giving statement, or you're wanting to send it out by category or by location specifically, you are able to produce the giving statements for that. They will not be showing up on the member area by doing it this way, nor will you be able to email them out of Elvanto this way as well. You'll be able to download it. You can email it personally, or you can print them. So the way to do that is going to financial, and we're going to click on reports. And this is also how you will be able to do the labels for if you want to mail out and you don't have window envelopes and you just want to have the labels. This is how you generate labels for those as well. So again, we're going to go to financial, and this time we're going to go to reports, and we're going to click on giving statements and reports. And here you can either generate for all people, or you can generate by name, where you'll be able to search for a specific person and generate for their names, for them specifically. And it's the same option. You can do individual or families as well. You can choose the custom date range. It's a little bit easier if you're wanting to do, you could do a lot of different options in the drop down. We could do last calendar year, or you could do custom date range and put in your own custom date that you'd like. For the output, we're looking at giving statements. This is also where you'll be able to generate address labels, and then you'll be able to print the address labels for them. You'll also be able to choose which template you'd like to use. just as you did on the other giving statement generator. And here are the same options. You can leave it as is if you want the default, or you can edit it a little bit if you'd like. Now here, you will also be able to pick and choose accounts. We also have the option to pick and choose the people category. So if you only want to send it to congregation or members, you can pick and choose which category, as well as demographics and location. Then you'll be able to generate, and it will generate a PDF just like it did. If it's for just one person, you can save it on the system and email them just the PDF. They never got it in the mail, or if you know, they lost it for some reason, that you can regenerate and send it just for them this way. And you could do it any time of the year. It's not just for tax season. You could do that anytime. And that is how you are able to generate for individuals or category, and generating address labels. I'm just going to go ahead and go over, make sure we haven't missed anything here. Gone over publishing giving statements. Like I mentioned, it'll show up in My Giving in the member area. We went over email, printing, and mailing. And I believe it is now time for our question and answer. Over to Callie.
All right, well done, both of you. I do have lots of questions. So let's start with Jake. If you don't mind, one of the many questions we got was how to print a statement for one person. Is this possible, and how would you recommend going about it?
Yeah, it's a really great question. I saw that one come in there as well. So if you're needing to reprint a statement for an individual, all you would need to do is just go to the people section, locate that individual's profile. And then when you're looking at their individual profile, so where you're looking at the details, the profile fields, or their information's entered, if you turn your attention to the left column of that page, there is a giving button. Just click on that giving button, and this will allow you to view the giving transaction history for this one individual user. Make sure your date ranges are set for that 2023 calendar year and not for 2024. And then toward the top right middle of that page, there's a download as Excel button. You can click that drop down. You can either reprint the statement for that one individual or email a statement for that one individual, and that will launch that on out to that one individual.
Nice, excellent. And then Irina, this next one is for you. How do you get a statement with total donation instead of every transaction in Elvanto?
That would be where you would choose if you want transaction and overview or overview.
Excellent. And now, Jake, we're coming back to you. Are members able to print their own statements?
Oh, another really great question. It's actually going to be a really similar process to what we just talked through for printing an individual statement for an individual as an admin, except with a member account for a donor. They're not necessarily going to have that same access that you would as an admin. So as long as they have a user account and as they have the My Profile settings set up there and their role permissions to view their own contributions, when they log into their account, they will simply click the My Profile button either in the top blue bar or on the dashboard. In the left column of their individual profile, they can click that giving button there, and then they can set the date ranges, and then they'll have the option there to either print that statement there toward the top right. After they set the date ranges for whatever contribution range they're looking for, they can just print the statement directly from there and access that from their side.
Awesome. And then Irina, we're coming back to you with another one. With Giving 1.0 and 2.0, will we be able to print statements? Are they linked? Will we be able to print statements from Elvanto for Giving 1.0 and 2.0, or is there a specific process there?
Yes, so if you have Elvanto and your Tithely Elvanto integration is set up, Tithely 1.0 and 2.0 transactions were being integrated the same. So if you're viewing them on 1.0 at the beginning of the year and slowly transitioned into 2.0, those transactions on the back end were treated the same. So they would come over into Elvanto. If you suspect that some may have not come over, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We'll be able to do the research and help you out there and make sure everything came over correctly. But yes, they would have come over at the same way from 1.0 and 2.0, as long as you have the integration active.
Awesome. And now, Jake, back to you. Running statements for those who didn't make any payments to their pledge. Do we have any steps for this kind of situation? What do you recommend?
Oh, so for those who haven't given, but you're needing to generate a statement for that, you can actually do that in the reporting area there. And then you would just ultimately need to send a letter to that individual if they don't have any giving transaction history for that year. So there's no giving transaction, not really a great way to generate a statement there. But if you go to reports, you can click the more drop down as a filter option, select the pledge to, select that pledge option there and include non-givers in that filter report. It's going to show you everybody who has a pledge set up, who hasn't given toward that specific pledge. You can use the people view to generate that list, and then you can create a letter or send an email to that group of individuals who signed up for a pledge but haven't necessarily given toward that pledge yet. So there also have a Help Center article focused around that goes into details. There's multiple steps there, but yeah, we do have a detailed Help Center article around that too.
Awesome. And Irina, I know that those using Elvanto, members can print their own statement. Are they able to include their family on that statement?
I believe
Family
that's an option. That's a setting that is under I'm trying to recall the setting option, but it is an option where you can allow for enabling the family giving to be able to be viewed. And I believe that is under settings financial, where I showed you could do the messages, so you can review that setting option as well.
Perfect. And Jake, is there a way to customize that itemized mail merge in Breeze statements?
Ooh, I love that question. So there is, and there's several things that can be customized there on that itemized area. You'll notice there when you're customizing that if you don't do something quite right, when you go to print that, it's going to show that mail merge field exactly as it's listed. But yeah, the defaults there, let me pull this up. I actually have this up for reference right now. So the defaults for that itemized list, see here, are going to be, I said I had it pulled up. Let's see. We have date, name, method, fund, and amount are the defaults. Some of the other fields that you can add in are things like the batch name, envelope, note, check, and account. So those are some of the other giving details that you can register when adding a giving transaction. Super simple process. You add a colon there, type in that information, check out our customizing statements Help Center guide. It's going to give a detailed overview of exactly what can be added to that and how to add that in there. But yeah, great question. Can be edited.
Yes, and just a fun fact, that can also be done if you're trying to include certain information of a pledge campaign. The same rules apply there, which is a very handy tool if you're trying to get some niche information into your statements with Breeze. Now, Irina, for pledges in Elvanto, can you show how much of a pledge is left with these statements?
Yes, as long as you have chosen to show pledges, it will show on the on the right-hand side on the tax statement overview. It'll show how much was pledged, how much was received, and how much is remaining.
Awesome. Okay, so those look like they were our most pressing questions. If there was anything we did not get to in the Q&A, if you still have questions, please email us. We will have that slide coming up. And Irina, back to you for more on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Callie. Yes, so I have the slide up in front. If anyone needs to contact, reach out to the CHMS support that you are utilizing, support at elvanto.com or support at breezechms.com. If we weren't able to get to your questions today, or if anything comes up while you're doing this, please reach out and let us know. We'll be happy to help you get through this time. Thank you. Jake?
Yep. Thank you all for joining in. And again, like she mentioned, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All of us are more than happy to serve and work alongside of you. Now, I hope you have a blessed rest of your day and a happy and successful and easy tax season as you're working to get all this information out. Hope you have a blessed rest of your day. Bye-bye.